What's going on, guys? East here again, and today we're taking a look at the green cards coming out for the 5th box set here for the Digimon TCG here in Japan called Battle of Omega. Now, much like yesterday where we talked about yellow, which didn't get a bunch of support, green likewise didn't get a ton of support. Also, aside, if you haven't seen the video on the yellow preview for BT05, do me a favor and take a look at that. You can find that up in the little card below. It'll be like in the corner right there, I think. Yeah, in there. But anyway, talking about green for now, it didn't get a ton of support. However, green was the first card that was targeted for the restricted list for Digimon TCG. If you've been playing the game for any amount of time within the past month or so, then you probably found out that a couple of cards in green were actually restricted to 1 per deck, where the normal card you can have 4 of per deck. Green got restricted on a couple of cards that were only allowed to have 1 per deck. Now, those cards have a very specific effect, and some of the effects that are coming out in Battle of Omega also have the same effect. So while they didn't print a bunch of those cards, they printed some, and I think you can still use those to support the cards that are already out and build a pretty strong deck with it. So let's take a look at what these cards are. Alright, so if you are, a green connoisseur, then you probably know that the archetype I'm talking about is the Digizortion archetype. And the first card that's going to get some support, that's going to support that from BT05 is going to be Kiwimon. Level 4, 4 cost on play, 2 cost on evolve. But here what you really want to do is get the on-play effect. So a little expensive in the beginning, but you're going to see a bunch of dividends returned later on in the game. So his effect is that when you play him, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and if any of those cards have a Digizortion effect, then you can put every single card that has a Digizortion effect into your hand. And then you return the rest to the bottom of your deck in any order. Now, while that doesn't seem super strong, getting 1 or 2 Digizortions at all is really strong because they're basically free evolves. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Digizortion is the ability where when a Digimon evolves, you can rest another Digimon on the field, or that Digimon if you want, and then you can reduce the evolution cost of that card by whatever the Digiabsorption cost is. In most cases, it's 3. And the Digimon that it has that effect usually is a 3 cost to evolve, so it becomes a free evolve to level 5 or level 6 in some cases. So yeah, really, really good effect. So the next card I want to talk about doesn't have a Digizorption effect outright, but it does have an effect that I think supports it, and so that's why I'm including it here in the archetype support for green in BT05. And that is Digimon. So Digimon, again, doesn't have Digizorption, but has the effect that on your turn, for every rested Digimon you have, it gains plus 2,000 DP. You have, 3, 4 rested Digimon. Digimon is pretty big and can swing over, level 6 and in some cases level 7 Digimon. So I think this is a super cool effect, and it gives you a cheap clear. And also, if you need to go over security as well, it gives you a pretty big number to get to have for a security check, right? Most Digimon securities aren't going to be, 14,000, 12,000, something like that. Where Digimon can swing over that, live, and then turn over turn, you can see that value every time you have to play a Digizorption effect. Alright, so as we go up the levels here for the green archetypes in BT05, I think this is the one that shines, and I think has the most potential in the next set. And that is going to be level 6 Argomon. Now, Argomon is one of those weird Digimon that has a version for every level, and the previous levels have already been released in previous box expansions. So we'll talk a little bit about them later, but for this one here, the level 6 Argomon has Digiabsorption 2, which basically means you can rest a Digimon and then Digievolve to level 6 for 2 cost. It's pretty good, I think. And then he has a really, really cool support effect where on Evolve, you rest all of your opponent's Tamers. And then on both of your turns, your opponent cannot unrest any Tamers. So as long as Argomon sticks around, a lot of those effects that your opponent would normally have to get over a bigger Digimon, or to just gain more memory, or you'll play more Digimon, what have you, they no longer get access to that. So Argomon shuts down and oppresses your opponent's resources so that you can use, your Digizorption to cheat out high-level Digimon, and then him on the board to just run over your opponent without them being able to do anything in return. Alright, so that's it for all the Digimon that support Digizorption's archetype for green. However, they did get a couple of support cards in options. So let's take a look at what those look like. The first one I want to talk about here is Royal Nuts, which is weirdly named, but whatever, because it's definitely not nuts. But look, anyway, the effect of the card is you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then if any of those cards have a Digizorption effect, you can put one of them into your hand. So it's kind of like the Kiwimon that we saw beforehand, However, it doesn't allow you to take all the cards, but it lets you search a larger variety of cards. And at 1 memory cost, I think that's pretty good. You put 2 of these in your hand, you can search through 20% of your entire deck for a Digizortion card, for 2 actually. So I think this card's really, really good. And honestly, if I'm being honest with myself, I think this card might be on the restricted list a little bit later. Because, like I said, if you have 2 of these in your hand, you can search through a fifth of your deck for 2 Digizortions, and it only costs you 2 memory to do that. That's really strong in my opinion. But yeah, great support for the Digizortion cards that are coming out, and for the cards that are already, in play. So yeah, I'll definitely be running it in my deck. Alright, now let's take a look at some of the existing support for the Digizortion archetype. So again, this was the first set of cards that were targeted by the restricted list in Digimon TCG. So they're very, very powerful, and I expect them to synergize perfectly with the cards that are coming out. Let's actually take a look at the first one, which is just Argomon level 4. So I told you that the Argomon previous iterations had already come out before, so this is the level 4 version. 2 costs on evolve, however it has Digizortion 2, which means it becomes a free evolve if you rest one of your Digimon. Additionally, we'll also take a look at Argomon level 5, who was the target of the restriction, so you're actually only allowed to have 1 of these in your deck. And he has Digizortion 3, and that, because he's a 3 cost on evolve, again, makes him another free evolve to level 5, but what's really bonkers about this card is the fact that he has an inheritance effect of whenever that Digimon attacks. So let's imagine you get level 5 out, then you go to level 6 Argomon. Whenever that Argomon attacks, you can take a level 3 Digimon from your hand and play it on the board at no cost that's already rested. So it has to be rested, but it's another body that you can have on the field. So it's free bodies, which is great value, and then it's a free evolve itself. I can't make up how good these cards are, and it's rightfully, reduced to 1 per deck. I think that limit makes sense. And last up, this one surprisingly not limited, but has a similar effect to Argomon level 5, and that is Blossomon. Also another level 5 Digimon, has a 3 cost for evolution and is also Digizortion 3. Yeah, this one doesn't have the added inheritance effect, but it's it's still a free body on the board. And the more quickly you can get to your level 6s, the better, I think. The more you can set up, Argomon level 6 so your opponent can't get access to their tamers. And then there's also a level 6 card that I think perfectly synergizes with all the Digizortion effects and makes them it kind of just pushes them over the limit as far as what a strong deck is. And I think that is the level 6 for Charismon. Now, Charismon is a 5 cost on evolve, and the Digizortion is actually only 3, but 2 cost for levels, or excuse me, 2 memory for level 6 is crazy good. And what makes this card even more bonkers is the fact that on your turn, once per turn, instead of resting your own Digimon for a Digizortion effect, you can rest your opponent's Digimon. Now that has an added bonus, because if your opponent has a Digimon that, is really big, but you have a way to take it out if you can just swing on it, then Charismon's perfect for that. You play him, you rest their Digimon for some other Digizortion effect for a free evolve, and then you swing into it. It's the perfect way to just get rid of your opponent's Digimon that are, troublesome. So with the cards that are coming out in BT05, with the cards I just talked about, it's bonkers. But wait, there's more. I have one more, and this is the one that was the second target of the restrictions, and that is the card Hidden Potential. Sorry, I had to read the Japanese there. But Hidden Potential has the ability or the effect of where whenever you play this card, the next one of your green Digimon that Digivolves, you can rest a Digimon, and you can reduce the Digivolution cost of that card by 5. Which makes Charismon a free evolve if you just rest one of your Digimon. It could be a piddly level 3, just rest, and you get a free level 6 Charismon, and then you can start resting your opponent's Digimon for Digizortion effects. Look, I don't know how much more they can support this archetype, but I'm definitely going to be running this in BT05. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for our preview for the green cards for Battle of Omega, the 5th card set for the Digimon TCG coming out in Japan at the end of the week, and at a couple months in the rest of the world, I suppose. If you're interested in more Digimon content, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button, and also hit that little bell so that you get notified whenever I do upload more content. Additionally, if you're interested in watching the box opening or Digimon streams in general, a buddy of mine and I, every Friday at our studio here in Tokyo, Japan, we stream us playing Digimon cards. I think this Friday we're going to do a box opening of Battle of Omega, so I think that'll be fun as well. But again, if you're interested in that, you can find more info in my description below about my Twitch stream. Yeah, let me know in the comments below, guys. Do you think that this archetype is going to get more restricted cards later, down the line? Again, I think there's a couple of, couple cards already that you could probably restrict out the gate before BT05 even comes out, just based on how strong they are, just theory crafting, Also, are there any other archetypes for green that you are interested in, or you think will be strong moving forward for Digimon? Let me know. All right, guys. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. Catch you next time.